exposing the gambling pandemic. Let's go ahead and watch it right now. Shout out to CoffeeZilla.
Gambling has changed. It used to be you'd lose your money on slots in Vegas, but today, not only can you do that, you can also bet on your favorite sports team, on the opening coin toss, on this individual pitch, or on all three in a parlay. You can do it from your phone, your tablet, your Apple Watch. You don't just have to gamble on sports, you can gamble on esports, on video game items, on slots with those items. You can do it in Roblox or on
Roblox.
stocks, on meme stocks, gamble with calls, gamble on earning calls, gamble on calls with earning calls. You can gamble on political events, world events. You can bet if Zelensky's going to wear a suit before July. Your own pal is going to say inflation 50 or 60 times in September.
50 times? Are you for real?
Hey, you don't just have to gamble on that. You can gamble on crypto coins, Trump coin, Dogecoin, Fartcoin. You can gamble on the champion of Fartcoin.
Fartcoin. What the freak?
Hey, you can gamble on any of the posts the champion of Fartcoin has ever made.
What the fart?
On whether they will become popular or not.
This is an actual pandemic, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Y'all have to watch it.
And if none of that's your cup of tea, you can also just gamble directly within your banking app on a game of roulette.
Now this is fucked up.
Like a gentleman. And don't even get me started on the ads. If you turn on sports, esports, podcasts, not even my favorite political show is safe.
Shout out to Prize Picks, the best app to fire on sports in the game.
You will be bombarded with gambling ads by every famous person you've ever heard of.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
DraftKings, man.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
Uh-oh.
How did we get here? And is it a good thing that we're turning every spare moment of our lives into a game of chance?
I feel like now that everything is digitalized, by the way, or everything is digitalized or whatever, and people know that humans are naturally inclined to do like gamble activities or, trade money or, just lose money and risk themselves that much, they're just going to take advantage of it. This is fucked up, but that's kind of how it works. I say it this every video.
I'm betting no.
Touché.
Responsible for gambling becoming more mainstream, but the first and biggest trend is simply the mainstream becoming more like gambling. See, Silicon Valley learned a decade ago that gambling mechanics are incredibly good for user retention, so they put them everywhere. Let's say you're shopping online. Well,
exactly. When money is involved in anything, it doesn't matter what it is, it makes it automatically funnier to watch or funnier to consume. If you have a game and you're gambling your money on it, all of a sudden the game that you don't give a damn anymore becomes something that you give your attention because you worked to put your money in there and you don't want to lose it. And that's where the fun starts,
Now you can spin a wheel to unlock prizes. Or if you're playing video games, you can open a loot box, get some randomized items. You can even use those items as virtual currency in a casino we've made a 3-part series about. Or maybe you don't have a problem with loot boxes for adults, but we've also put them in kids' video games because, got to start them young.
You have to train their mind since they're kids just to make them used to it when they're adults.
Roblox is the largest game for minors, and they are stuffed with randomized loot boxes. But even if that's fine for you, what about the third-party websites which, against TOS, allow full gambling based on a kid's game? And yes, there are actual kids gambling on these apps.
Right.
This is messed up, bro.
I just won a bit of profit there. I had 200 Robux. No, I had 200 Robux in profit, 100 Robux in profit, but I lost them. But I had 50 Robux and I lost it, and I thought I got 50 Robux again. So on this, mine's on a Robux World, what I'm gonna do is buy 40 crates now. No, not 40 crates, but like 44 crates. Yeah, looks good. Let's go. Let's go. We're in profit. Let's go.
Damn. I mean, this is the parents' fault, I would say, right? But it is very, very clear that the gambling mechanism is thrown to you since you're young because you need to be conditioned to certain ways. That's how society works. We need to be conditioned for these things since we're a kid. We need to be conditioned to consume things. We need to be conditioned to, act like this is all normal. And the next thing you know, you don't even notice that you're inside this trap anymore. This is just a mental game, man.
It is absolutely disgusting to see that. And look, I spoke to an insider who worked on this website, Roblox Wild, before it got shut down. He shared data which claimed they made $5,000 a day, or roughly $2 million a year.
Woo!
Thankfully, this website got shut down, but third-party gambling sites still persist because copying casinos makes a ton of money. And that's why we've been putting it into everything.
Exactly. And people are not going to change. You might think that you're going to change how this shit works, but it won't. It just won't. No matter how much you try to stop it, it's not going to stop. It's too much money involved. It's too many people who, no matter how much they know that they're not going to be profitable long-term or whatever, some of these people, they just don't care. And they're going to go all in, and it's just something that I don't think is going to ever change.
Including our politics. Prediction markets are the answer to the question of what if we could YOLO on election results and world events. The biggest websites are Polymarket and Kalshi, which have exploded in popularity during the American election cycle. But it isn't just major events that attract bettors. I was recently asked to investigate whether this was a suit that Zelensky was wearing. Why? Well, the prediction market had bet $200 million in betting volume on this bet. And some of them were really mad that they decided, no, this is not a suit, I guess. Whether you think
What?
it is or not, the volume of betting here is insane. And one reason for that is because these companies are exploiting loopholes that allow...
I think this just exposes how humans are so lost. They are so lost from purpose, and I don't judge them because, like I said, only them, like, they know what they go through on the daily basis, that they have to find a way to just distract themselves, even if it's the most outrageous things ever, to try and find meaning in their lives or try to make a quick buck, or maybe they're desperate, which, like I said, it's very complex for me to just simply come out here and just judge people, because I think it's kind of, there are too many things involved for just one person to just go ahead and judge. But it is crazy to see how far humans would go for the sake of, like, making money. And it's not really even making money. It's just pure betting, This is just pure, complete, like, probability betting, which is crazy, And not that I'm against betting. I think if you want to bet, if you want to spend your money on casinos or whatever, it's all on you. It's just that people don't know the limits. There's no limits to where, like, how to stop, where to stop, how far you should take it, or do you have self-control, and all these things,
Betting even in states where normal gambling is illegal, because these companies say they're not a casino, so they don't fall under the same rules, which is why instead of having to be 21, you can now gamble at 18 on prediction markets. And while there have been legal challenges to this, both of the major companies, Kalshi and Polymarket, have recently brought on the president's son as an advisor, making it hard to see how they're gonna be meaningfully regulated. Meanwhile, all the major betting apps are busy launching their own prediction market copycats to get around the same weak rules that we still have regarding betting. And don't even get me started on the other loopholes that are out there. Have you ever heard of the TikTok of sports wagering?
This is Cheddar. We're building the TikTok of sports wagering. Legal in 20 more states than DraftKings. Accessible for 18 to 21-year-olds.
Okay, accessible for 18 to 21. That's how they brag.
Live in-game.
Damn, and they're not even ready to bet yet.
Micro betting. Swipe to predict every moment of every play.
I'm going to stop you right there. If you missed it, Cheddar is a new startup trying to combine DraftKings, TikTok, and Tinder features into one app. And one of the things they brag about is they're allowing 18 to 21-year-olds as a competitive edge. Guys, can you believe the untapped market of teenagers for gambling? Now, to be fair, Cheddar has not launched yet, but this is obviously the future we're heading towards, turning everything into a maximally addictive gambling product.
It's sports wagering with the pace of a slot machine.
Yeah. Isn't that the most dystopian thing you've ever heard? We're trying to turn sports betting into slot machines. I mean, the funny thing is this whole product is built around yet another loophole called a sweepstakes casino, and that's how they get around the 21-year-old age requirement. Here's how it basically works. Sweepstakes casinos claim that you don't actually need to purchase anything to play, so it's kind of not gambling. In fact, you can get free coins to access their games, but they also have a second currency which you can buy. Well, Not buy. You get it for free when you buy the worthless coins. For example, their website says if you buy 100 cheddar coins, you get 5 bonus cheddar cash. And that's usually what you can gamble with and redeem for real money. This is actually how Stake US works. If you didn't know, Stake International is one of the world's largest casinos, but they aren't allowed here in the United States. So
It's just basically another way to gamble.
they have
It's like a different workaround, but it's ultimately the same thing. You're gambling anyways.
an American arm, which is a sweepstakes casino, which has gold coins and stake cash. One Redditor explains how the loophole really works. Quote, one stake cash is 1 USD. They only use gold coins because they need to say that you aren't gambling with real money to stay open in the US. Except, of course, you are actually gambling with real money. They just have a virtual currency workaround, which basically everyone has figured out. Some casinos are just kind of more honest about it than others. Cheddar's basically saying the quiet part out loud. They're going after 18 to 21-year-olds with TikTok, Tinder, sports betting at the pace of slots. And by the way, people are betting on their success. They're actually in a cohort of startups invested in by a Silicon Valley investment firm called A16Z. But if you think that's a bad idea, now let's talk about banks and gambling. I recently made a video on Yada,
Banks and gambling,
which was a
Now, this is actually crazy because I wouldn't be surprised if I was just targeted with a casino ad, but playing casino inside a banking app, now that's fucked up.
tech, which is a complicated story we've done a ton of work on here and here. But basically, the original pitch was a no-lose lottery, which gamified savings. Lots of YouTubers
No lose lottery. What the fuck what the hell does that even mean?
worked with them, and they acted like a bank, at least at first, until they switched their new business model to be about allowing you to gamble inside the app and lose money, essentially becoming a casino within what is essentially a bank account. Now, I should actually note that Yada recently shut down the banking side and have fully focused on the sweepstakes casino part. I guess it's a more profitable business,
Of course it is.
but it's a sign of the times that everyone is moving their app more towards gambling, and finance is going the same way. On August 19th,
Like, bro, just think about it. Even stocks is not really 100% sure. You can gamble in stocks, and ultimately everything, it is some type of gambling, because like even if you invest in a good stock, you're still like quote unquote gambling that, you know, in the future the stock's going to be appreciated. Say you invest in Google, you're still believing that like 5 years from now Google is going to still keep going up. But I would say that this is a really a little bit like safer gambling than, you know, just to gamble on freaking Russian roulette or some shit like that, which is just pure gambling, right? Because at least when you're investing or gambling on a Google stock, right, you actually are investing in something that actually exists, that generates jobs, that moves the economy, blah, 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 blah. There's all these things which make this gambling more safe, or safer, I should put it that way. But the gambling, ultimately, like just pure gambling, ultimately is really hard to make money from it, and especially long term. I think you could, hopefully, you could make some money with it, but on the long term for the rest of your life, I would say it's a little bit more complicated.
2025, the investing app Robinhood announced they are bringing sports betting prediction markets to their app. In the announcement, the vice president of Robinhood,
For example, some people, they want to gamble because they think they're going to get rich gambling. I think this is very unlikely. I think most likely the best case scenario with gambling is you make some money if you're very lucky, and then you take it out and you never risk that money again. Because most likely, if you continuing doing this, you're gonna just lose it all, you know. And I think to be rich is maybe the only way possible is through opening your business, or maybe investing in like real estate or stocks or something that actually is gonna, you know, generate something for you long term. And then maybe be a little bit lucky or whatever. But gambling itself, it's very unlikely. Not saying it's impossible, but it's very unlikely. You know, it's just, I don't know. Because it doesn't generate value to nobody, you know. It's kind of hard. You're just purely trading. I don't know, unless you take that money and invest somewhere else. But still, I wouldn't do it because I don't know.
claimed sports betting was a, quote, no-brainer, as we aim to make Robinhood a one-stop shop for all your investing and trading needs. AKA, we notice people
And I say that because, like I said, I'm a Forex trader myself. And a lot of people say trading is gambling or is it not gambling. There's so many things involved with it. So I kind of know more or less how this game works. And this is very complicated. It really is very complicated.
Or leaving to other apps. We don't like that. We'd like you to never leave our app. Now, ironically, the very next day, FanDuel, a sports betting app, announced they were bringing stock market betting to their customers.
But I will ask you about what some call the gamification of markets. Why this move? Why FanDuel? Why now?
For us to have a partner like FanDuel and be able to have 14 million accounts on day one, I'm not becoming a casino, contrary to popular opinion. I didn't buy a casino. These are markets that will be offered to the general public, and we think is massively exciting of what it could do.
And you couldn't have a more perfect image of how finance is embracing the casinos and vice versa. Actually, correction, you can have a more perfect image because after I wrote this, the New York Stock Exchange's owner invested $2 billion into Polymarket. So actually, this is the perfect image of where we are. And a result is a lot of young people now see the stock market as kind of more like a betting market. The most popular group.
Exactly. Especially if you're to invest in options trading, you can invest in like buying puts or buying call or long calls or whatever in penny stocks or whatever, or just really shitty penny stocks in which is worthless. Some people, they put all their money because they think they're gonna become multimillionaires and they're gonna 100x or 1000x or 10,000x your money. Very complicated, man. But the thing with that, in today's world, I think what helps people like get lost is because there's so much information that you get lost inside of it. Like back then, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, more or less, there wasn't a lot of information because there was not internet. And today, because there's so much information, it does the opposite effect. So like everyone's is lost because everyone's telling you to do something. Like somebody can tell you to do this, another person tells you to do that, and then the other person tells you to do the other thing, and then you get lost, so you don't know what to do. So it's really, really complicated these days for you to learn anything because there's too much information. It overwhelms you too much.
On Reddit is Personal Finance with about 21 million followers. In second place, Wall Street Bets, where gambling on the stock market is embraced and celebrated. It grew the most during the meme stock craze of 2020, which shifted how some people thought about investing. Instead of being driven by earnings, prices, or fundamentals, people gambled on memes, attention, and vibes. People are chasing bigger returns and taking on bigger risks to do so. One measure of this is the amount of debt people are taking out to invest. Margin debt is at an all-time high of $1 trillion, which even on an inflation-adjusted basis is near all-time highs and up 5x over the last few decades. Not only that,
put all your money in Dogecoin. I know a guy, I think he's Brazilian. He put I think $10,000 into Dogecoin and then he became a millionaire off of freaking Dogecoin, which it doesn't bring value to nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it does because I don't know too much about Dogecoin, but I just think this is hilarious, man. A lot of people, they got rich without actually adding value to nobody or helping anybody in this world. It's just pure appreciation to whatever thing they invested in, which baffles. It makes me like it's hard for me to comprehend. It doesn't get inside of here. It's just like, what is this world turning to? And I'm not even talking about, I haven't even started talking about NFTs, all the Web3 games, all these things, all these very sketchy things that, people said that it had some value or whatever, but most of these things are just pure bullshit. I'm just sorry to say that, but just pure BS, and it doesn't bring you nothing, It's crazy. It's crazy.
the rapid growth of zero-day options by retail traders is also a telltale sign. It's grown 5x in volume over 5 years, showing that people are trying to gamble more. Zero-day options are the stock trader equivalent of red or black at the casino. Fast action, massive wins or losses on a single day.
Zero-day options.
But if the stock market is America's casino, then meme coins are basically the back alley bookie who will break your legs. Bigger price swings, faster action. Meme coins are even more degenerate.
Options is the craziest instrument. It can make you super rich or it can make you go broke forever, and it can make you in debt for freaking 10 generations.
than meme stocks and pump and dump usually within a single day. Among the people who trade these, Pump.fun is the leading destination as the one-click launchpad. Anyone can make a meme coin in seconds, and there is no value in it other than the expectation that someone might be more foolish than you and buy at a higher price than you did. And of course,
Exactly. So you can sell it on their face and make money from them.
Pump.fun is happy to take a cut and make most of the
Like I said, I'm not against putting money in crypto. I own crypto too. I just think that y'all have to be careful. Just don't put everything into something that you don't know. And I say that all the time. You can put money in crypto. You can invest in meme coins. You can do anything. You're free to do whatever you want. The problem is here, if it doesn't go the way you're expecting it to be, are you ready to move on? Are you ready to accept that you might lose this money? And if you cannot say yes to that question, you should not do this. No matter how much you think that something is going to happen, you just don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know because you have no control. You don't have control what's going to happen in the future. Even the stocks, which is likely the safest things, you know, the blue chips or the good stocks, it's not guaranteed that, you know, those companies are going to still exist in the next 30 years. Something could happen, like the world could change. Even this is not guaranteed. Imagine meme coins. Imagine all these other altcoins out there. It's out there, you know what I'm saying? Even Bitcoin, which is likely a good coin, could change because we don't know what's going to happen. We have biases, but ultimately nobody knows shit. Like nobody knows anything, you know, because if you truly knew something, that means you could have predicted the future. Nobody can predict the future unless you can. If you're good enough and you're a freaking angel that somehow can predict the future, then I'm sorry, that doesn't go for you. But if you're a normal human being like me, I just cannot predict the future, you know what I'm saying?
money. Most traders will lose, but now you can also get a cut if you're a content creator who pushes one of these coins. We've seen the same thing from launchpads like Meteora. They allow creators to have a split of some of the trading fees, and it kind of democratizes the grift. Now, anyone can farm their followers and fans for money. You don't have to be particularly sophisticated, and that's actually how Trump made millions of dollars.
I feel like if you already invest in altcoins for a risking strategy in your portfolio the right way, which is like putting just a small portion of what you have in there and waiting to try and get an infinite upside, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. In matter of fact, that's what I do, because ultimately you have to take a high risk to try to make higher percentage rate quick enough. But then the game here is like, how far would you go? How far is it worth going? How much of your money are you going to put it in there? You know, say, what if you work 20 years and you have your life savings on it? Are you going to really be willing to put your 20 years of work, your life savings in some freaking meme coin that you have no idea if it's going to go up or not? You know, like that's the real risk here. And then if you cannot answer this question, then you shouldn't even do this in the first place. Just don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Fees with Trump meme coin without ever selling. He just farmed the fees.
Like, just think about it. For me, I've been doing this trading. I've been doing trading for a little over 5 to 6 years, more or less. And for me to this day, it's hard to control myself. Sometimes, you know, I get the urge to start going a little bit above my limit. And like, it is crazy. And like, it's every single day I have to take care of me. I have to take care of my mental health so I don't go crazy and think I'm going to be the next billionaire super quick. Because that's not how it works, you know?
And to be clear, this money doesn't magically appear. It's being siphoned away from regular people who mostly lose. It creates a sad ecosystem where most creators are racing to the bottom for attention to get their audiences to pump their worthless coins, where most are scamming, rage baiting, or otherwise trying to shock each other into becoming the biggest grift of the day.
Cups got drained.
Thanks for the 20 bandos.
Damn, this kid, bro. I've seen this kid. This kid was a savage, bro. I shouldn't even be laughing, but man, the things we see, ooh la la, boy, it never fails to amaze me.
What?
Of a zero-sum game where someone has to win for the other one to lose, meme coins are negative sum because of all the trading fees. Most people, by definition, will lose.
A zero sum.
The real winner, of course, is Pump.fun and people pushing it. According to one analysis,
the owners of those coins are most likely the winners of the real money. Like the real money made is from the owners. the creators.
Generated revenues of over $800 million for themselves, while almost none of the traders have made significant profits. According to one analysis, 0.4% of all traders will ever make over $10,000. So almost no one. And look, the reason we're going through all of this is to explain the many ways that gambling is no longer just about slots, cards, brick and mortar casinos. We've injected it into every conceivable aspect of our lives. And that has,
and like I said, at the end of the day, for example, a lot of people, there's so much people who made money with Ethereum, for example. Ethereum skyrocketed. I think if you were to buy Ethereum in 2017 and you were to held it buying a spot market, you would have made, I don't know, maybe 100 times, 1,000 times your money, 1,000 extra money. I don't know the exact amount right now, but a few years later, because the thing went up and you could have made millions to people. It could have changed someone's life. So it's not about like investing your money in crypto or a high risk investment, because this is not the point here. The point is, if it goes well, it's easy. Like everything is so easy when it goes well. I'm sorry, guys. Everything goes well when it goes easy, when it worked for you. Everything's easy when it goes well. I'm sorry. But if you lose it, are you willing to move on with your life if that shit happens to you? And then ultimately, guys, what y'all have to understand is that, like I said, there's no easy money. So if you push out too much, if you go beyond your limit because you're trying to make money so quick, and I know it's not easy because some people are just desperate, but that's where you most likely to do some bullshit in your life, to commit the biggest mistake in your life and just destroy yourself completely. You have to be ready for everything to fail. Like, you got to be ready. You got to expect that nothing is going to work out for you. And then from that point of view, you hope for the best, but you get ready for the worst, you know? And this is kind of how I do my trades, for example. Every money I put into something, I know for a fact that I can lose it, and how far I can take it, you know, before I stop it, you know, before I start telling myself, okay, this is too much, here's my limit. And then, okay, and like I said, it's easier said than done. It's easy to say when you're not going through a very vulnerable position. I get it. But ultimately, you have to be responsible for your life, because if you don't take care of your life, nobody else will. You know, I won't take care of your life. CoffeeZilla won't take care of your life. You have to take care of your finances in your life and ultimately not hurt yourself. And nobody's going to tell you, nobody's going to protect you from nothing. Matter of fact, people are going to do everything they can to steal your money from you. So the little money that you have saved up, they're going to try to do everything to take that money from you. So be careful. Be careful. You can invest. Just be careful.
two effects. One, it's inescapable. You cannot avoid gambling by avoiding Vegas anymore. It's literally everywhere. And then two, it's also harder to understand and study, because most researchers are studying like casinos, sports betting, but so much of gambling is not that anymore. So as we get to the numbers of this stuff, remember, everything's going to be an undercount. But it is still important to talk about those casinos, and that's where we're going to shift now. Starting with the biggest trend that has happened for these casinos, and number two on our reason, which is sports gambling becoming legalized. Rewind the clocks for a second back to 2018 when the Supreme Court overturned a federal ban. At the time, basically, you could only sports bet in Nevada. But after this, you can see in a few years, we've completely flipped on the issue. Most states now allow sports betting. And along with that, the advertising budgets for these companies
Probably because the government makes a lot of money from these things as well.
is absolutely enormous. DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, Prize Picks, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting celebrities and influencers to push their product every year. And man, has it worked. As I'm writing this, the number one sports app on the App Store is not sports. It's not ESPN. ESPN and the NFL are second and third. The number one sports app is actually DraftKings. And in the top 10, half of those apps are sports betting.
Wow.
Which is insane. There are two reasons for this. Obviously, one, hundreds of millions in advertising. But the second,
People's desperation, people's need to make money. And I don't even think it's people trying to get easy money these days. It's that people suffer too much. They hate the life they live. That's why I say to you that if it was so simple to solve this issue, we could change, but I don't think we could ever change, because at the end of the day, people suffer way too much. A lot of them, they hate their job they have, and they live a miserable life, and the only somewhat of hope that they have is that, put their money into something and expect that they're gonna have some returns, and especially fast, which is likely not what's gonna happen in most cases, and then that's how they end up making their situations even worse. So, man, damn, bro, it is hard to talk about it. I feel bad talking about it, but it is the reality of the world.
Is what are called inducements, which is when these apps will incentivize players to download them and place a bet, sometimes literally offering what seems like free money.
Which is pure BS, right? Because it does not exist. It's just usually it's just the bonus that they offer, but you cannot withdraw the bonus until you make a amount of money that you put it inside. Like, there's a work around it, but there's usually never any free money. It's just pure BS as well. It's just a strategy.
It's got an NFL offer.
Don't play with me.
Just turned $5 into $150 in bonus bets.
New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
New customers get risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Now look, the reason casinos do this is kind of obvious. If they can make you place one bet, they're more likely to place the second, third, and 100th. But even setting aside the fine print of these weird offers, does it not strike anyone else as weird that we're allowing gambling companies to give away free stuff? Imagine the cigarette industry told you, buy your first pack, get 50 free packs free to get you started. Imagine Budweiser said, shotgun one, they'll send you a case for fun. It's insane. And yet, that's exactly what these sports betting apps are doing. It's the lifeblood of how they get new players. And once you're in, these apps will also cater to their biggest players, biggest losers, called VIPs. They will send them gifts as they spend their life savings. And there have been multiple lawsuits actually about this. And to make it worse, if you do the opposite and you actually win too much on these apps, they will try to limit your betting, as one investigation found.
If you show any real ability to effectively handicap a game and beat the sportsbook, they will limit your bets and essentially kick you out of the sportsbook. They will not let you win. Can you talk to me a little bit about how sportsbooks treat you once you start winning?
They don't want to accept your bets.
Yeah, it turns out the casinos actually hate the exact player that's featured in all of their advertisements. The guy who actually wins too much money, which is...
That's actually how the system works. Even in Forex trading is the same. Forex trading is the same. And I'm a trader myself. I have the guts to say that because it's the same system everywhere. Oh man. Are we ever gonna be safe in this world? I don't think so. I don't think. All we can do is just sit down and pray, I guess, for the best.
Actually so crooked when you think about it, that if you're one of the few people who achieves what they're promoting, they actually don't want you. Now, as I was writing this story, another massive scandal actually broke in the sports betting world, which is even more corrupt than not allowing winners.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years.
That's right. The FBI just exposed a massive sports rigging scheme that was using these apps to win money on rigged basketball games. One example of this was March 23rd, 2023, when an NBA player, Terry Rozier, told a friend ahead of time that he was going to go out early on a foot injury. And so that night, $200,000 in bets were placed on his underperformance because no one else knew that he was injured. And a few minutes after Terry kind of limping around, he left the game and the bets paid off. A few days later, Terry Rozier and his friend allegedly counted the money at his house from the fraudulent wagering scheme. And this was one of several rigged games the
How did they find out about it? Find out.
FBI alleged, but the media was quick to point out this isn't even the first time someone was caught doing something like this.
Jonte Porter, who played for the Toronto Raptors, has already pled guilty. He's already pled guilty. He's awaiting sentencing for doing just what Rozier and Jones are accused of. So this train has already left the station, Laura. And I have to tell you, when Jeff Teague, an NBA player, says, oh, there's betting everywhere, it is everywhere. I've done ads for DraftKings. LeBron James has done ads for DraftKings. In fact, ESPN, when they were reporting this story this morning, they're having programming, people talking just like you and me, talking about this scandal on the press conference the FBI was giving. And underneath them on the ticker,
as they're talking about betting, And they're talking about you not to bet. They're actually running a betting ad. I mean, the hypocrisy here is insane. Oh, man. I mean, at this point, there's nothing much to do but just besides laughing. That's why I laugh, because like this is the actual comedy show. The real comedy show is in here. That's the real.
Was an ad for ESPN Bet, which is ESPN's own sportsbook.
Yeah, the irony of all of this is that the same people who condemn illegal betting going on are simultaneously pushing the sport.
This is just all a joke, guys. The system is all a joke. The Matrix is a joke. Oh my God, save yourself from the Matrix. Oh my God, the Matrix is a joke.
Sportsbooks, which create the opportunity. And at some point, the producers on ESPN actually noticed it. And see if you can spot the moment they try to fix the sportsbook ad in the corner.
You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place. However, there is
they removed it.
A fine line, not so fine. There is a bold line that obviously has to be drawn.
This is never going to change, dude. Just accept it that this is never going to change, and you cannot fight it. The only way you can fight it is you being smart enough not to fall into this shit. Or if you fall into this shit, you don't die if you lose some money because you can continue living your life. That's how you can protect yourself. I came into this conclusion. I'm not going to be able to fight it. It's too much people. It's too much money involved. Too many things. The only thing you can do is like be smart and ask yourself so many questions before gambling in something. And if you're gonna do it at your own risk, and not to the point where if it goes to shit, you die.
Oh, that's a little awkward. You're actually supposed to remove the ad for sports betting before talking about sports rigging. And honestly, we've only hit the tip of the iceberg here, because we've since learned these professional leagues are useless at catching this stuff. Turns out the NBA already investigated Terry Rozier before the FBI indictment for that exact game, and they cleared him because the NBA commissioner said there was insufficient evidence.
Ultimately concluded that there was insufficient evidence despite that aberrational behavior to move forward.
Right. So even with aberrational activity, they had the right game, the right guy, and the NBA couldn't find enough evidence. I mean, the more money that goes into sports betting, the more this will be a problem, and the leagues are clearly not equipped to handle it. But people just look the other way because the money's too good. And I want to now address the size of these betting markets, because they're absolutely enormous in ways most people don't understand. And to get our heads around it, we're going to look at some survey numbers. One study estimates that 22% of all Americans and almost half of men my age have an online sports betting account. Another estimates that 1 in 4 people have placed a bet on
editing
sports, and 1 in 5 have placed a bet in the last year. Like with all surveys, there's margins of error here, but the data mostly agrees. Sports betting is very widespread and extremely popular among young men. And for the ones who get addicted, it's financially devastating. One recent study looked at Americans' finances before and after sports betting was legalized by their state. They found that bankruptcy rates rise approximately 10% after legalization. Another paper looked at financial stability, noting that for households that do bet, they spend on average about $720 a year sports betting. And the study found that for every dollar someone deposits for betting, there's a reduction in net investments of just under $1. As people gamble more, they invest less, which means their financial future is worse. Makes sense. But this is especially true of problem gamblers or gambling addicts. To be clear, this is not something that affects all gamblers. Roughly 1% of the world population suffers from this. It's more common among
what?
Affects all gamblers. Roughly 1% of the world
1% of the world
population
suffers from gambling addiction. I doubt, dude. I doubt
from this. It's more
I think it's so much more
common among people who bet regularly and bet online. Two of the things that sports gambling encourages. Problem gambling completely obliterates people's finances and affects more than just the gambler, because as they beg, borrow, or steal to continue their addiction, they affect everyone around them. And I do mean steal. Roughly half of gambling addicts will commit a crime, and most of those crimes are to continue gambling, often leading to a spiral where the addict doesn't see a way out, which is why problem gambling has one of the highest suicide rates of any substance addictions. Full stop.
I don't get it. You know none of this matters, right?
Yeah.
You've tried this before with Roulette, CS2, and it did nothing.
Yep.
No, literally, I mean nothing.
I love those bar conversations, man.
Absolute silence. All the moralizing, the anti-gambling.
Yeah, all this blah 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 is never gonna change. I came into this conclusion a long time ago. It's not gonna change.
You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
He's making his money doing the videos. He's not making his time. He's not wasting his time. But I still don't think it's ever going to change. Ever, you know? At least if you can get to educate people enough so that they're more aware of what they're doing, then I would say this is better. But ultimately, like, change, I don't think it's ever going to change, like, ever. Because there's too many, and it's involved across the whole world. Like I said, we are conditioned. He showed in the video, we're conditioned for this since we were young and naive. And, like, it's very hard to uninstall, you know, this belief in their mind. Like, that's going to be, like, incentivized since we're young. Like, for this games, for Counter-Strike, for Roblox, for all these other games, etc., etc., etc. It is a hard thing. I like how he's acting, man. He's acting so cool. It's on point.
Let me tell you a story. A year ago, I was offered $20,000 to do a video by Casino. Now, I said no and made a whole series about it, but what I didn't tell you is that later I was offered $1 million to cover my legal fees in an ongoing case. Now, this was offered by a person who said they wanted to remain anonymous, no strings attached, very nice person. They said they wanted to just help out. Sounds great.
Just business.
But then I found out the money was coming from a sports betting company. They were one of the top people, and that's obviously a dilemma for me. I am publicly against gambling, and here this person's kind of privately telling me, well, gambling can pretty much solve all my problems. Pay my legal fees. You know, they're telling me, oh, their company's regulated. It's fine. It's above board. Ultimately, I had to say no. Thank you for the offer, but, you know, in my head, there's no such thing as $1 million, no strings attached. And, you know, obviously, I also can't take $1 million from a sports betting company and then go make a video criticizing sports betting.
Yeah. It is a big conflict of interest at the end of the day. It is a big conflict of interest, honestly. It is a tough situation, you know. But I like him that at least he stands for his morals and he stands for his ground, even though he was offered $1 million, you know. And he makes good money with YouTube, at least as far as I know. But $1 million always comes in handy, right? So it's nice that he stands up for his morals, you know.
But it gave me pause and kind of gave me an aha moment that I was missing before, where I started to understand exactly how screwed we are. And this goes into...
It's just too much money involved at this point. And some people, if they see an amount of money, which is like enough to change their lives situation or their family's situation, some of these people they're not even thinking twice. They're taking it, you know, because like at the end of the day, they are the only one that knows their struggles. And like I said, it's very hard for anybody to say that this is right or is wrong. It's like it's debatable, you know, at the end of the day. But I actually like Coffee that at least he's being honest about it, you know what I'm saying?
Our third reason, gambling is winning. The casual way these casinos can throw around life-changing money for any normal person is why the data will never fix this.
Exactly. Like if they're paying $100 million for XQC to do gambling, live gambling, imagine how much money they're making from it. They're probably making billions of dollars every year just by paying out $100 million to XQC or to Adon Ross, for example, just for casinos, because they know that the people who watches them is most likely young adults, you know, people who are very lost in their lives, which are still figuring themselves out. And, you know, a lot of them have no idea what they're doing and they just want to go ahead and they're going to follow what they're their influencer does, right? And then most likely, most of them are going to lose money, and that's where the thing happens for them. The magic happens for the owners, right, of these companies.
It's why having enough sad facts about addicts or interviewing people whose lives were ruined will not change things. Believe me, I've done it, and it's never moved the needle. To be honest, it's not even debatable that gambling is kind of bad for most people and life-destroying for a few. Even the industry kind of admits that, but the reason gambling is everywhere in spite of that...
It's because in one end of the situation, they're making so much money that they don't care about anything or anybody because it's worth it for them, for this part of the people, you know?
Is there is too much money in the game benefiting the people that make the final decisions, right? Think about the states with tax revenue, the casino profits, the influencer payouts. There's a small group that gambling is incredible for.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, money rules the world. And if you are on the benefiting end of it, then you're not going to care about anyone else. And fuck people. That's just as sad as it is to swallow it down, it is the reality. And I don't think it's ever going to change. Ever.
So incredible, it basically defies logic. I'm talking billions of dollars in profits. And if you want to understand why gambling is everywhere, you can't just look at the statistics. You have to look at the money. And I want to show you exactly how this works with an example. This is Matthew. He's better known online as Nadeshot, and recently he took a gambling deal with an offshore crypto casino. And when he first talks about the deal, I want you to notice it's a little strange. He almost seems hesitant.
Boys, we just partnered with Rootbet, and before I say anything, don't gamble, okay? You will lose. I promise you, you're gonna lose.
Don't gamble, but I'm advertising.
But that's why I partnered with Rootbet, so they can pay me to gamble. So even when I lose, I'm still gonna lose.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to hear someone say, don't gamble, guys, while announcing a
too much conflict of interest
partnership with a gambling company. Nadeshot implies that he may lose money, but in fact, he later admits that it's the most money he's ever been paid.
This is the biggest partnership that I've had in my entire career.
No, instead, I think the hesitancy, the weirdness of this video is because Nadeshot knows pushing gambling is kind of bad for people. He said so in a podcast a couple years ago.
I definitely think that people streaming on Twitch, all the crypto betting, certainly incentivizes younger kids to be more interested in crypto gambling. Like, I know personally people that should not have been gambling online, but because it's so easy to gamble with crypto, they did it when they could not afford to do it, and it has not worked out well for them.
Right. Nadeshot knows personally it's bad. But for the reason why he's doing it anyways, just fast forward 2 minutes in the podcast and we find out because the host asks, a hypothetical. What if someone offered Nadeshot $100 million to promote gambling? And well, let's just say his tone changed.
I ain't turning down $100 million, bro. You got me fucked up, brother. I will go on there and I will crypto gamble.
At least he's honest about it. I admire at least the honesty. At least he's not going to be a hypocrite about it. He's going to be honest. Hey, $100 million, fuck y'all. I don't give a shit about y'all. Y'all can go ahead and die. I don't care about y'all. It's not my problem. At least you got to admit that he's being honest about it. A lot of people, they would do the same thing and they wouldn't be open about it. They would be hypocrites, But at the end of the day, man, it's really hard turning down that kind of money
24/7
unless you're already super rich and you definitely don't need that money. But how rich would you have to be to turn out $100 million? You'd have to be a multi-billionaire.
At that point, man, it's the parents' fault. Hey, I'm just working over here. You're gonna pay me more than LeBron? Brother, I would be lighting up, cash on fire, gambling crypto. I would sell my soul for 100 M's. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
We should
sell my soul. Wow.
Clip this. We should send this over. Okay.
I won't sleep. I will be your workhorse. You want me to pump blue chews and crypto gambling? I will do it all. You got me fucked up.
I went all out.
Them kids, dude. Fuck them kids.
Look,
yo, this is fucked up. Let's go.
I'm just going to say, you can say he's wrong for saying that. He's a bad person for saying that. But the reality is, this is why gambling is winning. The casinos have so much money.
I can tell that.
They are buying people's souls. Even people who kind of admit gambling's kind of bad.
Yeah, just buy all them people. It's like there's a Jack Pockets video in which he says, "Oh, if somebody's in a way, just buy them out with your pocket change." That's what these casino people does, right? To people, they just buy them out. They don't care. Fuck the morals. They don't care about morals. I'm just gonna buy you with $100 million, you know. And it's on you to say no. And if you say no, somebody else is gonna say yes. And the thing is just gonna keep continuing moving, you know.
Put enough money.
The wheel, I don't know. The wheel or the gear is going to continue moving.
On the table, and Nate Shot says, hey, fuck them kids. And by the way, speaking of fucking them kids, let's talk about Drake.
W's
fuck
in the shot.
It isn't just streamers or influencers taking deals. It's the biggest rapper on the planet. He signed a reported $100 million deal recently with Stake, the crypto casino, which is wild. There's really no endorsement deal.
And he's already rich as fuck, by the way.
Like that anywhere else that hit those kind of numbers. And just like Nate Shot, Drake wants you to know that, you know, even though he's taking the money, gambling isn't for everyone. Recently, he posted an $8 million loss, saying, gotta share the other side of gambling. Now, maybe some of you think that's brave, but to me, I see
it's not brave. If you won $100 million and then you spend $8 million just to make the advertisement, and you still have $92 million, it's not brave. You still made money at the end of the day. The people who lost money from your gamblings, they're the ones who fucked up. You know, and ultimately, like I said, you gotta be responsible because otherwise you're gonna be on the bad receiving end of this game, which is the losing end.
That and go, Drake, that is the only side of gambling for most people. If any normal person lost $8 million, their life is over and their legs are broken. You're the only one with another side to this whole thing.
If you lose $8 million on one end, but you win $40 million on the other end, you still won. So yeah, guess that's how it works.
To be clear, that other side is reportedly getting paid $100 million. And to be clear, like, it's a lot of people taking these deals. I'm not trying to single anyone out. You know, let's also take Kevin Hart, right? One of the world's smallest comedians. He pushes DraftKings. And this one I find really bizarre.
Do me a favor, man. Go to the DraftKings app. Look at what I'm betting on. Look at why I'm betting on. Place your bets. All the action is here. DraftKings, Kevin Hart.
I'm not even going to ask why Kevin needs you to get on DraftKings and bet. Like, the fact is he's worth a reported $450 million. But the real thing I find so gross about this is that Kevin Hart has gone on podcasts and talked about
he's worth $450 million. That's crazy.
About the need for financial literacy. You know, he talked about this.
All of that for jokes, for telling jokes. Damn.
On Joe Rogan.
The biggest problem within our community is
leverage, Samuel, leverage.
Is knowledge. We don't know. Debt is welcomed because it's celebrated. That's all we know. The knowledge isn't given. So it's not till you obtain that knowledge and understanding that you go, oh, this is why you put money up. This is how you increase versus decrease. Oh, this is how you earn on your money. Oh, wow. I can gain wealth by investing in what? The stock world is what? How many people partake in the stock world? And is there a part that isn't necessarily gambling? Is there a low risk part? The information isn't there.
Yeah, Kev, maybe the information isn't there on the stock market part, which isn't gambling, because you're too busy telling them about actual gambling. Understand that Kevin Hart is not just a guy who sometimes talks about it on podcasts either. He has a whole partnership, an actual partnership with Chase Bank, where they ran a campaign to improve financial literacy. But then Kevin goes on the side and he's pushing DraftKings, which preys on people's financial illiteracy. And while we're talking,
this is all a joke, man.
Talking about small comedians with big.
That's what I'm saying. The world itself, and I don't blame him. Like, the whole system is the joke, you know. And like, somebody's got to be the clown, and somebody's got to watch the clown, and ultimately the show's gonna continue. So And if you don't want to be the clown, someone else is gonna be the clown, and it's gonna keep continuing forever. This is all a show, people. The Matrix is a show.
Big bank accounts. Let's talk about Joe Rogan too. And listen, I'm not trying to be high and mighty with all this stuff. I know it sounds a bit like that, but believe me, I am eye level with these guys. Okay, I'm very short too. You can't tell behind the $10 million studio desk, but no offense is intended here. We got to discuss though how the biggest comedians in the world, the biggest, smallest comedians, are pushing DraftKings. Didn't Joe get a $250 million deal from Spotify? I didn't realize before this video, like, how many gambling ads he has been running recently. In the month of September alone, there were 11 DraftKings ads in 14 videos. And with Joe especially, it's weird because he's the guy who rants against Big Pharma's manipulative advertising.
If you can advertise, you can manipulate people and change their opinion based on theatrics.
So many.
Everyone gets a free bet.
We all want to win. Hey, let's win together.
You know what to do.
You have music and people dancing and holding hands and spinning around in a wheat field. Like, that is so manipulative. And we are subject to manipulation. And when it's something that is so important, like making critical health decisions, there's so many of these commercials. Like, so many times I'm watching television, I'm like, how many goddamn drug commercials are there?
By the way, I agree with him. We are being manipulated, but change a few words from that rant, and you could say the exact same thing about how gambling is pushed. Casinos are also manipulative. They don't advertise the actual reality where people lose. Instead, they say things like winning, cashing in, opportunity. And Joe Rogan's a part of that.
Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action, win with it. Every snap is loaded with opportunity.
That is just as manipulative as pharma ads pushing pills that may end up addicting you. In both cases, the collateral damage are the addicts we created along the way. And I guess I have to ask, maybe people think, oh, one's worse than the other. Is there that much of a difference between a drug addict and a gambling addict? No, really.
No.
Really, I'm asking.
It's like, if you see the drug addict, you see him, he's shooting up or whatever it is, and you see him fainting, you go, oh, that poor bastard. But when you see a guy who's fully in the grips of gambling, trying to figure out how to get his money back, and he's all jazzed up with adrenaline, he doesn't understand why.
It's just like cocaine. It's just like drug abuse. It's just like the opiate problem. It's just like anything else. It could you and I both know people who have lost their lives gambling. Okay, you've seen people in pool halls. You see how they get, Joe Rogan. Man. There's no difference in the drug addict and the gambling addict. Not at all. No difference.
So there is no difference. Then why do we shake our head at the Sackler family and pharmaceutical execs who push pills that ruin people's lives, but somehow nobody cares we're doing a very similar thing with gambling? At every level of society, we are shoving this down people's throats. And it's not that I mind if people gamble individually, but we are pushing it on people who otherwise would not have done it, because everything is gambling now, from sports to entertainment to investing. It is totally inescapable, and we're moving the casino from Vegas directly into people's pockets, connecting to their bank accounts. I don't know exactly how this is going to end, but it doesn't take a genius to see where it's going to lead. Gambling is going to be a much larger problem for people, and especially young men. And the saddest part is, there's no amount of data or facts that I can give you that's going to stop that. There's just too much money at stake.
Regarding online sports books or winning cash on sports, we currently work with Prize Picks. Between us, I enjoy betting very mildly on sports. Okay. It makes the games more fun, but I'm also aware of the risk it can pose, though probably not very knowledgeable because I haven't had those same exact issues. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Everybody reacts to this thing in a different way. Somebody who loses $100 may act a certain way versus somebody who's been going through something. They might act in a completely different way. They might want to get that money back and fast, and they might do everything to get that money back. And in the attempt of trying to $100 back or trying to get $100 back, they might end up losing $1,000, and then that's where the domino effect starts of losses, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse until it spirals. Make sure to follow guidelines from our sponsors. There's no guidelines once a gambling is involved. Unfortunately, it's just how it works at this point. Is you being 100% responsible for what you're doing, because the moment you're there, it's just how it is. Like, even if you regulate it, there's no amount of regulations going to change the fact that it still is gambling, you know? And like I said, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility as an individual to be aware of what you're doing at all times. And even me, for example, I study a lot about the stocks and investment, and I'm all into this world in which there's so many things, so many good opportunities in gambling. And even I am prone to fall into that. Imagine somebody who never had access to any of it, who never studied it, who doesn't know anything about anything. It's like 100 times worse.
Hey, come back to the bar and let me fix you a drink. The weather isn't.
He's all sad. He's just upset with the world. The world failed coffee.
Changing anytime. I'm soon.
You know, all it would take is basic advertising rules or legislative change to put a stop to half of this stuff.
Nah, he's never gonna change, buddy.
That's the thing. Money makes the world move, Coffee.
Exactly.
And the people who write the rules like them just the way they are.
Do you really think it's worth all of this, though? Like, just for a little more money?
Hey, you said it yourself, didn't you? It's not just a little money.
It's a lot more.
It's a lot more money. If people would sell their soul for $100 million, well, imagine what they do for billions.
Power, control, influence.
You know, maybe it is time for that drink.
Look at how sad he's walking off.
You're gonna tip this time, right?
Hey, let's go. W video. That was a long one, man. I'm sorry. Almost an hour. This is almost like a movie. It's almost like watching a movie, because it is kind of somewhat of a movie. But yo, guys, tell me what y'all think about it. This is cool. This is really cool, man. This is complex. My brain is fried from all this information, but tell me what y'all think. I will see you in the next video. Credits again to CoffeeZilla. I'm gonna give the credits to the video in the description, and also I'm gonna put in the screen. And yeah, thank you so much for watching it. Let's go ahead and react to more content. There's a lot more coming up. And if you want me to react to any other video or just see anything else, let me know as well. Yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye.